Welcome to a Fables a Day, in which the Archivist reviews an issue of Fables a Day up till the final issue, where he will undoubtedly cry like a baby. And there's no restraint on spoilers, so if that's a problem for you, well then go read the series and then come back. On with the show! Fables number 150, in which many things are resolved to an extent that the gentlewomen and gentlemen who've been privileged to bring you these tales in years past, and who's proudly presented this one today, can take the opportunity to wish you a fond, if somewhat troubling, farewell. Old Ambrose has finished his final volume of the history of the Fables. King Ambrose, Flycatcher, takes up Lancelot's rapier, and says that there are many crimes Brandish must answer for, so he is back to trial by combat. At about that time, Snow arrives to find the wall at Wolf Manor blown out by Bigby, about to kill the kids. Yet Connor, probably the only wolf cub who's yet to really do anything, talks his father down and gets him to find his humanity, and they embrace. Around that time, Cinderella makes her play against Totenkinder, and their duel shatters the tower above the courtyard, where Fables are gathering to leave Fabletown. Elsewhere, Grimble flies into the creepy castle, finding a very beating heart at its gooey center. In Camelot, Flycatcher has shielded himself with enough magic that Brandish can't even touch him, and Fly has not taken any chance to strike against him. However, Brandish feels his heart, many worlds away, being pierced by the beak of Grimble the Blue Jay. Also worlds away, Rose Red is detoured from her path back to the Mundy world by Hope. Yet Rose is too strong now and too clear in her purpose that she is able to talk Hope into a single bite-sized morsel that she eats. In the shattered remains of Castle Fabletown, Cinderella wins the duel before succumbing to her wounds by shoving the heel of her glass slipper into Totenkinder's forehead. Rose Red then appears in totalitarian mode, telling the Fables going to the homelands to never return. Those that side with her to go to the farm, and those that side with Snow have a 10-minute head start. At Wolf Manor, Winter finally reveals that she's not the little girl she's pretended to be as her army arrives, ready for action. On the outskirts of the farm, Rose releases her contained demons, showing LaFay and Clarethia her whole host as those that have died for false hope. Entire legions of persons join with the monsters. In Haven, Flycatcher refuses to join the battle, and the night before their great battle, both sisters have their own idea to scare the opposition. Yet Rose Red talks to a boy in a blue cloak by a fire about Snow's children, especially the boys, before Rose realizes she needs to talk to Snow. Rose even gives the glass ring back to Bigby to show she means no harm, and so Rose talks about how their family line curse is for only daughters to always be born, and they are only born after there is one daughter left. So here are Rose's terms. They both leave the Mundy world and go their separate ways, always keeping worlds between them just in case. And that was the battle that truly ended Fabletown for all time. Not a grand epic ending with death and hatred everywhere, but in the heart of two strong women. The rest of the book are wrap-up stories, just giving some closure, and they're all honestly good in their own right, but those are for you to find out after binge reading this entire series. This truly is a book of endings. As much as I should be upset that it almost felt like too clean and too much of a happy ending, especially how basically everything building to it was epic, including Rose finally going to the dark side, like I said last issue, as much as I loved the triple-sized story, it worked for me, but honestly, I don't feel anything towards it. It's not bad, like I said, it's just not something that really worth talking about. Good, but not great. But I think that's what this series actually needed. 14 years with these characters, and at the beginning we're dealing with very sisterly struggles of Rose and Snow. So it's natural for that to be where we go out, with growth actually being shown. And while I would have probably felt something more if it had turned more into a warring family story, with some great grand duel between Rose and Snow having been what destroyed Castle Fabletown, with Snow's destiny coming to pass, Rose finally coming to terms with the fact that she's actually the paladin of forgiveness or failed chances or something, stripping herself of all power. But frankly, it was the quiet road to go that Fables as a series has always done, rather than going into epic grand action and harder hitting things. And on that note, I guess I'm done with the Fables a Day. So what comes next? Well, I'll be doing some afterthought videos on this series as a whole. I mean, there's 150 issues here. I'm not just gonna go shrug whatevs. Like, I'll do top covers, best storylines, and if I can talk with my super Fables specialist friend to join me, videos on comparing some of these characters to their classical stories and how it's changed or stayed the same. I'll also be doing a binging on comics for this series as a whole, where I will discuss the creators, plot, theme, general stuff. Just one episode talking about the whole series. As for a blank a day, October is going to be Ash versus the Archivist, where I will be doing a blank a day on 6 separate stories with Ash versus other franchises. Now, if you'd like to suggest a comic for a blank a day, or another one of any other video series I have on this channel, then please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Bradley Nephilim, where I generally just randomly sprout comic related stuff. You might like it. And the Archivist on Facebook. All links in the description. And if you think that none of that's unpersonal enough, you can actually contact me at thecomicarchivist@gmail.com. So, I'm the Archivist, and as always, stay golden, Inklings.